Right, and we're back. Hey, how about that? Cool. Yeah, I had to switch over to my Linux machine. My Hackintosh doesn't play well with exporting any kind of data, like and sending anything over the net, and it just dies. So if anybody has any idea, has ever worked with Hackintosh, yeah, let me know. Right now I'm in Linux, and I'm not sure how good the stream is. It looks actually pretty decent, so I'm fairly impressed by that. I don't know what kind of resolution you guys are getting, and I don't know where I left off. I think I left off talking about my um, X24. This is actually an X24 Flying Cinema X24 with 6-inch props, so it's got longer arms on it. I actually had them make up some longer arms for me so I could run 6-inch props, and it works well. It does the job. It's fast. This is probably one of the fastest quads I own, even though it has the F80 220 kV motors. So it's amazing how much control this has, how much the torque these motors have, and how quickly they can react. So very cool. It's actually got Cobra 35 amp ESCs on it, BLES, running D-Shot, I believe. So it's a power quad. My other long distance frame is my G2. That's probably, you guys are familiar with that. That's a very light, it's KISS CC plus an FPV Vision, FP Vision from from TBS, and 800 milliwatts, and that's very light. And this is for really long distances. I can probably go, estimate on the 5,000 milliamp hour batteries, I can probably go about 10 kilometers. I'm going to test that out. That's my next goal with this quad, is to see if I can get 10 kilometers on it. Well, we'll see. That's going to be an interesting one. So anyways, those are my two long distance quads. I've got some quads in the back. You can see back here. Those are, I've got a Flying Cinema Cinetank back there. I've got a Special Alien back there. I'm not really supposed to talk about that, so I'm not going to talk about that. But there's a Special Alien back there, right about, yeah, there we go. There, that's my Special Alien. And I like that frame. That the Alien 6-inch frame is nice. It's got a lot of space on it, so you can do a lot with it. I like that. So basically, for long distances, you really need to figure out what you want to do with the long distances, how far you want to go, take a look at the various options out there, and work with what you want to do. If you want to do medium range stuff, anything up to 3 kilometers, probably a 5-inch will get you that. It's going to be iffy with the battery. If you can put a battery underneath the frame, that's better. Both of these frames, both the X24 and the G2, they both run batteries on the bottom, which is kind of nice, so I can put really big batteries on them and it doesn't really affect them too much. You can't really put a big battery on the top of this, and you can't really put a big battery on the top of the Alien either. So that's one of the things I really don't like about those frames. They're limitations. Yeah. So what do you guys want to know? What do you guys want to talk about? I'm here. Ask me questions. Got anything burning you want to know about long range? Ask me. How much did it cost for my long range? It's hard to estimate because I've basically built up this long range over a year and a half, 2 years. The 2.4 gigahertz systems I've invested heavily in. I probably paid $150 for the Duo 2.4 receiver. That's a diversity receiver. Antennas, another 80, somewhere around there. Crossfire, the big Crossfire, about 200. So yeah, it's a lot. Probably, I'd say about $500, somewhere around there, for the transmitting and receiving side. and then you have to figure in the costs of the video transmitters. Video transmitters are 50. I buy the TBS 500 milliwatt transmitters, the 2.4 gigahertz transmitters, and they're about 50 each. And then the micro receivers, they're about $40 each, somewhere around there. So that's basically the cost for long distance, if you really wanted to get into long distance. How do you get your ESC voltage to play nice with an OST? That's an interesting question. With with the TBS systems, I like them because I typically use with the TBS systems, I like them. I use the Core PNP Pro. That's really nice. That I like because it includes a little power adapter. Basically, I'm not sure you can see that here. In here, there is an adapter that basically reads the current and the voltage and basically sends power to the Core PNP Pro. So that does a lot of filtering. It makes it really clean, and then I don't have to worry too much about capacitors and things like that. So that's basically my strategy, and that's worked pretty well. There's only one exception to that, and that is the, let's see if I can get that alien. Yep. Yeah, the alien back there, that doesn't play well with the Core. I don't really know what's going on. It gives me lines, it gives me a lot of interference that it could be doing something wrong. I just don't know. I've had to play with it, and I haven't really solved those issues. Is there anything you're going to want to change on your quad? On the X24, no. I think that is pretty much set. That's a standard build for myself. I really like the F80 motor. It's the 2.4 gigahertz transmitters. If there was a 2.4 gigahertz FP Vision, yeah, I'd probably move to that. I don't like the Core PNP Pro because it's quite large. It doesn't really fit in the frame very well. So if I had the option, I'd probably change that out for something else. Change that out for an FPV Vision 2.4. The same with the G2. If I could move that to 2.4 gigahertz, I would. Right now, it just works better with the FP Vision. It just provides a lot of information. I've probably noticed I added a GPS on this. So it gets the information from the GPS, and that really works. So apart from that, no. My Alien 5, which is this little bird here. My Alien 5. Can you guys hear me okay? I hope you can. Let me grab my mic and move it someplace nicer. Yeah, my Alien 5, which is this right here. That I just changed over to an FP Vision as well. I like how that works, and I like the OSD. Before, I didn't have an OSD on this, and it gave me a little bit of nervousness going mid-range, so I changed that over to an FP Vision. Yep. So no, not much. And yeah, the Alien 5 I've had for probably 2.5 years now. I think I got it right after the Alien came out. It was an Alien 4 in the beginning, and then I changed it over the 5-inch arms, and I like that. It just works. It's been a good quad. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to know? Let's see, what else can I answer? What other questions that I've had? Do I use like a DJI? Yes, I do. I have a DJI Mavic. I just bought that this year. It's a good solution. It's nice, compact. I can usually get better video out of that. how much battery for a 250 frame for long range? Boy, that's a hard question. 1800 would probably be my recommendation to 2200 on a 250 frame. You could probably fit 6-inch prompts on a 250 frame, if depending on the frame. It depends on the frame, it depends on the motors, depends on a lot of different things. So I can't really tell you exactly how much battery you're going to need to get long range. I've seen Trappy do 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers on a 5-inch frame. So I know it's possible. And I think he was using a 1.3 amp hour battery. So it's it depends. It really depends on your setup. Do I have some configuration for when the video fails? Yes, I do. Gracias, Idir. Básicamente voy a contestar esa en español y then I'll give you the answer in English as well. Sí, básicamente tengo un horizonte en un switch y si pierdo video puedo tirar el switch y hacer mucho throttle y yeah. So yes, I do have horizon mode on a switch. If I do lose video, I can punch it, I can switch it and punch it and hopefully get video back. I haven't had that issue yet. I mean, apart from the last time I had that issue when I lost my first G2 in the mountains. So yeah, I do have a horizon set up and it's just in case. Do my new quads fly better than my old ones? Yes and no. The G2 flies longer than the other ones because it's designed for that, really. When I typically build quads, I don't build a lot of quads that do the same job. I try to make sure that I have quads that do different jobs. So way back when I was racing, I had quads that I had dedicated for racing that were just for that. When I have a 5-inch quad for doing acro. I have the 7-inch quad for doing really long range, and I have the X24 for doing medium range power stuff. So a lot of the mountains out here I can reach fairly quickly, and I don't need a lot of long range. I can do about 3 kilometers on that quad without too much problems. So yeah. Do they fly better? I'm not sure. I have a suspicion that the modern flight controllers aren't very well optimized for 2-blade props. And I say this with some testing. I've spent a lot of time with my old G2 trying to get it tuned for 7x4.5 bi-blade props. And I was never able to get it tuned. I even spent time with the new one trying to get it tuned, and I was never able to get a satisfactory tune. So the 6-inch, I've had problems with the 6-inch bi-blades as well. So I think there is something there in the flight controllers that's not very well tuned. Maybe that needs better D-term filtering. I'm not sure. I really don't know. Right now with the 3-blade props on my G2, I have a pretty good tune, and I'm happy with it. So why that is, don't know. The X24 has some issues. It tends to wobble, and I'm not really sure why. It seems like there's a lot of it's too high I term, but it's not. It's very low. So that's some of the problems I've been having with the tuning. It's kind of frustrating because I want to give you guys good video, but I have problems with tuning the quads, and they don't really tune very well. Granted, I don't spend a lot of time or don't spend enough time tuning to really say what the problem is. In the past, that wasn't always the case. I had a Flying Cinema Tinquito 30 with 6-inch props, and that worked really well, gave me a really good video, and it was pretty locked in. So I'm not really sure what has happened. And that was flying KISS flight controller and Rotor Geek 20 ESCs. I've tried to replicate that in the X24 and some of the other quads, and I really haven't had too much success. So I think something's changed in the software rather than the hardware. What's changed, I'm not sure. How many of my quads are still in the mountains? Oh, that's a hard question. Or that's not a hard question. At the moment, I have 5 quads lost. I hope that will diminish. I hope I'll be able to find some of them, but it's unlikely. Let's give the rundown. I've lost 1 quad in Hawaii. I was flying there. That one really hurt because it had a GoPro Session 5 on it, a new Session 5 at the time. That was a year ago, November, in the Drone Worlds. And I had been flying all day with Johnny FPV and Flying Pear and Colby SFPV. And I decided I want to fly near this airfield, actually quite a ways out from the airfield, but there were some cliffs there around the north edge of the island. So I did a flight and I was having video problems. I was like, no problem, I can get it. And I dove down through a ravine and the video went out and I hit something and the quad went down. So I was still new to the Crossfire system then. I didn't really know how to use find mode. I did use find mode. I got close, but not close enough to actually find the quad. And so I had to leave that day. I was flying out that day, and yeah, hi Gons. So I was flying out that day, and so I had to leave that quad. I couldn't find it. There was another one up in the mountains a little while after that, probably 2 months after that, and the video went out, video cut. I was probably about a kilometer from myself and the video cut out. I was able to guide the quad back. It was basically cutting in and out the video. So I was able to guide the quad back more or less to myself, but I overflew myself and then landed somewhere. I went up, tried to find it with Gonzalo Gonq, who's in chat, and we spent probably a day there looking for it and never found it. It's too much area, too much possibility of where it could be, and overgrown with brush, so we never found it. That was number 2. Number 3 was in Patagonia, and that wasn't flying. I was actually, there's a video of mine where I talk about that, and I coming down off a mountain. It was strapped to the back of my backpack and got caught up in some brush, and I pulled through it. And at that point, I just was sick of pulling through brush. It was hell. And yeah, I lost that quad that stayed in the brush. And by the time I realized it, I said, no, I'm not going back. 4th quad was in Conguillo, the national park. I was flying a lake and the prop came off, or the motor died, or something happened to the quad and it just spiraled into the lake. And yeah, that's it. And the 5th one was up in the mountains, the recent G2, and I lost video and boom, gone. So that should answer that question. 3 officially in the mountains, 1 in Hawaii, and 1 in a lake. Yeah, correct pronunciation of my channel name is Chili Vuela. Not Viola, not Voliere, no, vuela. Um, Means chili flies, more or less. Does it seem better flying with 2-blade or 3-blade? It's more or less the same. I haven't gone back. I mean, my 6-inch quad works. It's 2-blade, and it's fine. I don't have any problems with it. My Alien 5 is 3-blade, no problems. The G2 3-blade, once again, no problems. So no, I don't think it really makes too much of a difference. At least I don't notice it for the type of flying I do. I know the 2 blades should be more efficient. So yeah. Right. Any other questions? I'm not sure what else I can show you. I do have a project I'm working on. It's the 3 blades protect the motor when you crash. I'm not sure. I really don't see too much of that. It could be. If you have the PC 3-blade props, yeah, they probably does help a little bit. The old HQs, no, not at all. They just snap. You look at them and they snap. So, right. Let's see. Let me show you. I've got one more question here, but I'm going to show you my project that I've got going on. Some of you may have seen this already. This is my mini drac. I'm still in the process of building it. I'm got the. Can you see me here? Yeah, you can see me. Good. So I'm building this out. I've got Pix Falcon here, so it's going to be at least autonomous. It can return to home if necessary. It'll run 2.4 gigahertz video and of course crossfire. And right now I'm still doing the crossfire, and then I've got to put the HD cameras in it. So that's my other project that I've got going on. Right. Now, let's answer some questions. ¿Puedes mostrar cómo estás montando las cámaras or las antennas in tus quads? Yeah, so how I have my antennas set up. G2 got a little dongle here with the original antenna, the original crossfire antenna on it, and that's vertical. Not sure you can see this. Turn this light over here. Hopefully you can see that. There's a little, so here's the light part is in here in the red, and yeah, can you see that? Yeah, good. And then down below is the dark part. That's the ground plane. And this is the active element. So that is the G2. On my X24, I have it set up vertically, more or less. So I've got it strapped to the side of the body of the quad and just up and down. And that works because I've got the bottom mounted battery there. And I have on my Alien 5, I've got it strapped to the back horizontally. That's not really ideal, but it's what it is. It works. It's not for really long distances, but just to get a little bit farther away from myself and have that peace of mind for range. So yeah, that's horizontal, and that runs. This is important. If you're running vertical antenna on your quad, you should be running your crossfire antenna vertically on the transmitter. If you're running the crossfire antenna horizontally on the quad, you should be running horizontally on the transmitter. So you should match the polarization of the antennas. That's basic, but it's important. That mini drac is taking longer than your alien rescue a couple of months ago. Thank you, Nasheen. Yeah, it is. I'm trying to build it out nice, make sure it doesn't go missing in the mountains. I've spent a lot of money on it, so I'm taking my time with it, and it's something new. Thank you, Glenn. Glad you enjoy my footage and the strange things that I do in the mountains. I enjoy doing this. It gives me something to do in the weekends. Not like I need much more to do on the weekends. That house is kind of falling apart. My wife is yelling at me, but I like getting out into the mountains to do this. Any other questions? Yeah, hi guys. So we got 18 people watching. That's pretty impressive. Why not use larger quads for long range? Yeah, that's a pretty simple question. Weight. Here, this quad here weighs 300 grams. It's got 6-inch props on it, 1450 kV motors. The big quad here, that's a Flying Cinema X20, or yeah, Flying Cinema Cinetank. 12-inch props, 2 kilograms loaded. I can get probably about 25 minutes out of this flying, but it's kind of slow, and it's for it's for smooth footage. It flies pretty nice, but it's still for smooth footage, so not really ideal for doing mountain diving, things like that. So yeah, I could use it for longer range. Why don't I? Because it's basically heavy. The weight to power ratio on this is worse than the weight to power ratio on the G2. So that's basically the issue. I have other quads that I use, but I could use there's a I don't know if you can see it back there, my old 540 that I've cut down, basically minimized, and that works, just not very easy to tune. So once you start getting up into bigger props, then tuning becomes a large issue, and you get a lot of jello in the video, and that's another reason why I don't like it. And to get rid of the jello, you have to go to a clean, dirty frame, and that adds the weight. And so, yeah, basic issues. It's all a compromise, really. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy my stuff. I'm glad you're hanging out with me here on a Saturday night, and instead of doing whatever the heck you're supposed to be doing. How do the props handle the thin air? Fairly well. It's nice to go up in pitch if you go up in the mountains. I know I used to run the Gemfan 50/50 tri-blades in the mountains, and they work really well, and they didn't use too much power either. So you get thinner air, you run higher pitch props, and it basically evens out, basically. Or you could run higher kV motors, and that works as well, but who wants to change out motors when you're in the mountains? Yeah, I feel sorry for you guys that are out in flat areas. Shimada, I really feel sorry for you guys. I know NetEcho is in Indiana. He's basically flat area. Houston, I know, is flat. So I feel sorry for you guys. It's just luck that I was able to start FPV while living here in Chile, and got up into the mountains fairly quickly and decided, yeah, that's fun. I need to do more of that. So. Yeah. So, yeah, if there's not much else, if you don't have any more questions for me, I'm going to call it a night for now. ¿Cuál sería el mejor lugar en Chile en donde volaste? What was the greatest place in Chile that I've flown? Let's see. Best place that I've flown in Chile is. Whoa. It's hard to say. There's been so many good places that I've flown in Chile. Yeah, that's a hard question. I like flying all the places that I've flown. Some places have been more challenging than others. Some places have been a little less exciting but more beautiful. It's hard to say. Not really sure which is best. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Have a good night, guys. And I'll be back on at some point to answer more questions if you've got them. So. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, I know you want to be part of that. Right. Yeah, lots of questions coming in. I'm going to leave these questions for the next time. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.